Yeah. Yeah, sure. Sure.
One of the key issues you would have is the scalability, distribution of this.
Correct. Correct.
Are you looking at, for instance, if there's like hardly a chance that I would go and
Absolutely.
and getting into user takes way more speaking to make it.
It's not a scalable solution. I agree with you.
So are you looking at signing up your shops, etc., moving towards
Okay. So there is a good question. The question is, how do we scale our business model? Obviously, like I mentioned, this small task force of people who go out and sign other people is not going to work. But we're counting on two things, and we've started to see this happen. As we gain momentum, as we gain a critical mass, job seekers themselves are bringing in job seekers. So for the past 2 months, we haven't done a lot of serious marketing work ourselves. The job seekers who had a good experience have started bringing in people. We get about 8 to 10 people coming into our office every day to register. The second thing about scaling out geographically into other locations, yes, we are tied up with kiosk providers. I cannot name them right now due to confidentiality. But yes, we are tied with kiosks that give us reach not only in Bangalore, but also in the periphery of Bangalore and rural area from where the migrant workforce will come and work in Bangalore. We are looking at it.
When you started your presentation, you said that 1 degree of separation is what a lot of people look for.
Correct.
Great. This model that you're just presenting takes away from that.
I absolutely agree with you.
A lot of, especially for these category of jobs that you're looking at, referrals are really...
brings an element of trust into this transaction. Now as we move into other models, that trust goes away. What are we doing about it? Well, sadly the answer is there is not much we've been able to do about it. Even with the field staff going out and bringing people in, that degree of trust or that circle of trust was somewhat breached. We try to do things like go to police and get a verification. Try to cut a deal with police to sort of do a bulk verification for us. But you know how police works in India. It's proved to be very difficult for us. And we couldn't do it. And they also have limitations of staff, and obviously it has to be a monetized transaction for them. So obviously we didn't have the money or muscle to do that. What we started doing is starting to take a middle path, where once the user is provisioned, we try and get as much information as we can about the user from the user himself. And we also tell the user to name a referral, their neighbor or their past employer. We try to get their voter ID card, their driving license in case of a driver, and try and upload it on our website so that you can take a judgment. Let me show you one of the users, if I indeed can. Let me try and have a chat. This might be a hit or miss, but I would try and see if I have anything more. So we try and get photo ID, address proof, as much information as we can get without going wrong from the person. So that's ultimately, to answer your question, to take a call whether you should trust this person or not is entirely your call. So we facilitate your judgment.
But theoretically, it changes the entire model, right? When you stated the problem, solution to the problem.
Correct.
What was demonstrated right now is just a marketplace. There is no element of social network, and it's not.
Actually, it's not true to say that there is no element of options that we are exploring to be able to scale. What we're trying to do here, social network is just one of our missions. What we're trying to do is we're trying to use technology to become a scalable job provider in the lower jobs, to bring efficiency into this lowest rate of work.
Is this monster at the lowest rate?
Yeah.
Is that your scalability? Is that your road ahead? Is that where you see power jobs going, or is it a different path that you see?
Or is it like you want to be actually the LinkedIn of the...
I see us as both, and I think I don't think they are mutually contradictory. These two things can run together. Both models can run together. In fact,
those are two different models.
They're two different models, but I'm not denying that they're not two different models. I'm saying that they're two different models. But there's no dichotomy in them being together. India, after all, is a land of contradictions. There is contradiction in pay scale gaps, right? So there is a dichotomy. But we're trying to run the two of them together because social networking hasn't really scaled for us. There aren't enough people with initiative to create a profile. We've run it for 6 months, it hasn't scaled.
But if you convert this to a LinkedIn model, don't you think it will go?
We have been running it as a LinkedIn model. Actually, we have a portal called babalife.com where you could go. Since it wasn't central to my presentation here, I didn't mention it. But babalife.com is where we have a networking, social networking angle. You can blog, you can also SMS people, and that whole social networking aspect of it. In fact, we also had an Output application, which Output incidentally has a platform called Open Social, where I use the existing social network to run my application. Now, I have made connections with 500 friends who have made further connections with 500 friends. It's impossible for me to reach the scale of Output in a year or even 2 years. Output has taken 5 years to reach there. Instead of doing that, instead of fighting them, I use them as a platform to get that social data. And we have similar things where I post a job, and if I have a friend on Output and he has an application installed, he will see that I've posted a job. So yes, we are, so to sum it up, we're doing 3 things here. A, we're trying to be the social networking for the poor. B, we're trying to leverage the existing social network because they give us dense network connections. And C, we're trying to be a scalable provider in the job market, which we think is in dire need of some efficiency. So these are our 3 key goals. But that is not what really inspired us. As we started working, there are things you realize on the way and started.
I think we'll take one last question because we have another demo waiting.
Okay.
Like Mojo also needs some airtime.
Alright, okay, I agree with that. So I'll take a short question, I can take it offline for this.
Yeah.
I've got jobs.
And how many people do you have working on this?
We have 8 people working on the field side. We have about, I would say about 5,000 profiles that are live and active, which you can browse. And we're also trying to create some momentum on the job side. Unless there are more jobs which are being posted on our website, we wouldn't have more people getting jobs.
What's your customer acquisition strategy for that kind of?
Our customer acquisition strategy revolves around mobile, revolves around working with newspapers to get their blue-collar jobs.
Free PR articles, that's all you've done to kind of reach out to the market.
Yes, that's all the advertising we've done. We are planning to do some interesting things, like you might soon see us behind autos, and of course presenting at forums like this. Which is incidentally how I discovered about BabaJob, where our CEO Sean Blacksmith came and presented at IIM. My wife happened to be there, and she said, "Hey, I heard about this thing." It's a sort of social networking mirroring in real life. Okay, so without delaying much, thank you very much for your time.
Hello?
Clear also.
I am Naman, founder and CEO of Mojo. I know you guys are waiting for the snacks. I'll be quick. Who are we? We started out as a B2B CRM company around 6 months ago. We had a chance to interact with one of the nutritionists in India, Dr. Shikha Sharma. She is a big nutritionist in Delhi, and she has around 7 centers. So she had a problem to manage their staff internally, as well as to communicate to the customer clearly what the diet plan is. So a bit about what nutritionists do. They essentially take a quick snap of your daily lifestyle. They analyze your body as per Ayurvedic Panda, and then they tell you what are the things to avoid. And since you can't remember 15-20 things, they actually go ahead and plan the day's meal for you. And good ones actually give you a meal plan for around 3 days, and then call you back, take the feedback, and then give you the new meal plan. So they had an internal problem as well as a problem to communicate to the customer the diet plan every day. And for that they used to call the customers, and the customers that they have are usually corporates. I mean the big executives in the corporate, and they do not have much time to spend. So they used to then give actual feedback of whether they were following the plan or not. They used to cut short the conversation, and the actual data never reached the nutritionist. So these are the two problems that they wanted us to solve. What we did was we sat there with them for a week, analyzed what is the manual process, and mapped that to a CRM. So why are we here? I mean, why on Momo? We realized since these people do not have time, and many of them do not actually access, while our